That's strangely close to Daniel Jones from the Giants. Daniel, is that you? Beat the Chiefs. Show me. If the Broncos and Russell Wilson can show me that they can beat the Chiefs, then I will start believing.
The crowd up. And so are this defense, and Kansas City won't snap the ball again. The Denver Broncos have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs.
Dave Montgomery on the Lions, former Bear, gonna make this his revenge game for sure. David Montgomery gets the touchdown that ices the game. No! And there's a flag. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. Snap. Hold. Kick.
Denver wins! Denver wins! Let's go!
They open. No!
What happened? Oh shit.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Only Football Podcast. Tonight, we're doing Week 9 predictions. We're going to be going over our top five teams and candies for Halloween. As you can tell, we're having a spooky good time. And we're going to do my favorite segment of the middle of the year. I'm gonna miss the lights. Stay tuned for that. And of course, we're gonna end it off with the Chives with Kyle. Oh, let's get it. America is football.
Football is America. If you don't like it, you can kiss your candy ass. For the moment in time, I don't give a damn. Oh my god!
No!
You loved it.
30-27. Chiefs win. Chiefs win 30-20.
Woo! What is going on?
Happy Halloween Eve.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Only Football Podcast. I just have one question for you.
What is it, Kyle?
What's your favorite scary movie?
I like Halloween. I like Scream. Oh my god, is that you?
This isn't fucking Brandon. Have you seen the one where she keeps saying it's his boyfriend joking around?
Yeah.
Stop it, Brandon. Stop it,
Yeah.
Brandon. And then the girlfriend's friend's like, who are you on the phone with? She's like, it's Brandon. He's pranking me. And finally he's like, this isn't fucking Brandon.
Like, stop saying that shit. That's not my name.
But it is still I. I look like Scream, but it's Kyle. That's an octopus.
I'm Octopus, that's Kyle.
It doesn't work with multiple syllables. Okay. We got, I'm not going to lie, it's kind of hot in here. It's kind of hot in here. And I'm not talking about,
He's not talking about me.
I'm talking about week 8. No, 9. 9. Week 9.
Let's go. Great start.
If I could have one win this entire season,
Yep.
it wouldn't be the Chiefs. It would be not the Raiders. It would be the Ravens. This is
Let's
the
go.
one I want. I will go ahead and throw me off a ledge, Broncos country, because I'm about to say something crazy.
Oh my god.
If I had to lose twice to the Chiefs to get this Ravens win, I might consider it.
Oh, Kyle's calling it.
This is my Super Bowl. This is my Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
I am so excited. I know the Bears are playing Arizona, who's coming off of a really good win, and they were able to beat Miami. We talked about that yesterday. So both of our teams have big, important games coming up. And tomorrow, it starts Thursday night, which is going to be Halloween. And we have a Halloween football game. It's going to be spooky. It's going to be spooky. But the game is going to be really scary for Jets fans because Aaron Rodgers gets traded to the New York Jets, supposed to win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
They haven't had a win in 5 weeks. And then you think that they have a get-right game against the Patriots, and somehow they acquired Devontae Adams, and they still lose. And this is a rookie quarterback that got knocked out of the game in the second quarter. Like, how the hell are they beating the Jets? And more importantly, how the hell are the Jets losing? And now they have to take on a Houston Texans team that has won 5 games, only 2 losses on the season. The reigning offensive player of the year, could have won MVP in CJ Stroud. Tank Dell's back. Nico Collins could be back. This is a hard get-right game, and any game from now on is a get-right game for the Jets, no matter who the opponent is. I say it because they have to get right, and the only way to do that is to win, and Aaron Rodgers said it in the press conference today. He said, look, we have to win. Like, that's it. We have to win out, but we can't focus on that. We can only focus on Thursday, and we have to be excited. We have to have fun. Rick, is there any chance the Jets win?
Oh God, dude, this is a tough one. And Crafty, I am a man being swallowed by a octopus. This is a tough one because, like you said, the Jets have to get right. They have lost 5 in a row, and most recently to a terrible Patriots team with a rookie quarterback or Jacoby Brissett. So the Jets don't look good. They are in a Super Bowl window with Aaron Rodgers, one that they are slowly losing the grasp on. But you're right. Out of all the games they could have had after the Patriots lost, this is not one of them because the Texans, like you said, they're 5-2. Has their offense looked a little bit off compared to last year? Yeah, absolutely. They just lost Stephon Diggs. Tank Dell is the guy right now. I don't know what Nico Collins, his availability, or what they're going to do in terms of limiting him throughout the game. But this still, even with Nico Collins, has been a rough start to the year offensively. Now, luckily, there's games where Joe Mixon is able to kind of take over and create that offense for them. So I'm sure the Texans definitely appreciate that and are like patting themselves on the back for grabbing him in the offseason. The defense is good. I don't know, man. The Jets, because Crafty's saying something good here too. This could be a trap game. Last year, Stroud melted in against the Jets and even against the Panthers. So
no way. Not a trap game because it's a national story that the Jets need to win out.
Well, yeah, but the way that they lose 5 in a row, like I remember we were saying yesterday, right? Like winning is hard, but losing 5 in a row as an NFL team just seems to be just as difficult. But I don't know, man. I've got the Texans winning going into New Jersey against the Jets. And really, it's going to be all because of the lack of defense that the Jets have had the last few weeks. It has just not looked anywhere near what they have been the last 2-3 years under ex-coach Salah. And while we are talking about how the offense is struggling for the Texans, I think that this may be a good matchup for them where they're going to be able to take advantage of the run game on the Jets, and CJ Stroud can still pull off some magic. He's still the offensive rookie of the year from last year. So I'm going to go Texans here against the Jets. I can't believe that I'm taking the Jets to lose 6 in a row, but that's where I'm at with this game right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Jets.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Jets at home. The Texans, they're winning games, but this is a bet on the Jets, right? Mm-hmm. This is more about the Jets' desperation. It's a short week, and when short weeks happen, weird things happen. So
true.
I'm going to take the Jets. Next up, we got the Dallas Cowboys taking on Oh, God, that's a hard one.
That Hey, at least the Falcons aren't playing another NFC South team.
Very true. Dallas, I mean, they have their struggles. A lot of teams are struggling right now. Who do I think is going to win this game? Well, Atlanta's 5-3 and Dallas is 3-4. I could see Dallas going on the road and winning this game. And that's going to be my pick. I love everything going on in Atlanta right now, but I don't see the Cowboys just like stacking L's. Like I do, I said this earlier. I could see them having, and I think I said they will have less than 10 wins. But they went into the bye week and then they almost won that game, came back late. I think they're going to have a lot of urgency, and I think they're going to hit the road and take on Atlanta. Atlanta's played pretty well at home. Remember, they beat the Seahawks a couple of weeks ago, but now that's looking less impressive.
Yep.
I don't know who Atlanta is yet. You know, to me, they're a good team that's trying to get better every single week. But I think Mike McCarthy is a better coach, and I think Mike McCarthy is going to have a good game plan, and I think he's going to out-coach. What's his name? Raheem Morris.
Raheem Morris, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's gonna put together a good game plan, and I think it's gonna be surprising. I'm gonna pull up the spread here for all the games because as I talk about it, I'm just curious if Vegas is seeing it the same way.
All right. For me, and just to stay on theme here, the Cowboys are like the movie Halloween. It's a classic. You know what you're getting. It's a brand that has been there for decades, but it's not the 90s anymore, and it's not that good. That's what the Cowboys are like. It's just not there. Dak got paid, and they went all in this year. With air quotes, with Ezekiel Elliott, and they re-signed the lineman. That's all in, baby. That is all in. But the Falcons are a little bit better. They're dominating their division. I love the star players on their side, and then when you compare the star players on the Cowboys versus the Falcons are just stacked, man. It seems like Kyle Pitts is finally being kind of thrust into the spotlight as to, regarding his draft pick, how high he was drafted. It's just starting to look a little bit better, starting to look new and improved. And I think for me, it's going to be the Falcons at home. And it's going to be just because of the star talent around that team. The Cowboys got CeeDee Lamb. They got Dak Prescott. They've got some guys, but it is just not coming together. Unless Ezekiel Elliott can bust out for something crazy this game, or Dowdle or Dowdy or whatever, it's going to take quite a bit. And the defense just isn't there right now for the Cowboys. So I'm going to be taking the Falcons to take a dub here in Week 9.
I respect it. Falcons are indeed 2.5-point favorites. So I have started Week 9 with 2 underdog picks. I'm feeling like this is the underdog week, right? The week of Halloween. It's spooky.
I can see that.
It's terrifying. I don't know. I'm just feeling like a lot of teams are going to be upset. And let's continue to the third game. And that is going to be a matchup between. Wait, where did my? Hold on, sorry. It's hard to see out of these eyes. All right, Week 3, we got a matchup. Oh, I can see.
With the mask, it looks crazy.
I am so freaking ready for this game. The Denver Broncos, the 5-3 Denver Broncos taking on the 5-3 Baltimore Ravens. The 5th seed Denver Broncos taking on the 7th seed Baltimore Ravens, or the 6th seed. This is where the rubber meets the road, right?
Mm.
I feel that all of what Bo Nix has done has been great, but nobody takes him serious. I mean, he had 5 total touchdowns. He almost threw for 5 alone, but Cortland fumbles it on the 1-yard line.
Yep.
And the NFL just posted on their X, they're like, who should be the rookie of the week? People said Jaden Daniels.
He didn't really
What?
do much. He didn't do much.
It's not even like, it's about what Bo did. I mean, I don't care who it's against. Like, that's what rookie of the week is. There was a rookie quarterback that absolutely lit it up. He looked like the best player, the best rookie last week, clearly. I mean, if that was the only week that you saw, you would be like, wow, Bo Nix works right away.
Yep.
Like, this is going to be awesome. So, but what does it tell you? It tells you that Denver, not a lot of big names, they're just not getting that public attraction. They are not a team that people are clicking on the TV to watch the Broncos game, because for the last 10 years, they have been nothing. And that it takes a long time for people to get that out of their mouth. And even with Bo Nix performing the way he is, it hasn't happened yet. But there is a moment where it happens, right? The Texans were bad for a couple years during the Deshaun Watson stuff, and then no one really took the Texans serious for the first half of the season. And then there was a moment where we were all like, CJ Stroud's awesome and the Texans are fun. And this is our moment. You know, Jim Nance and Tony Romo haven't called a Broncos game since Christmas, when Denver got blown out by the Rams, 51 to who cares, right? It was an absolute atrocity. And that was the last time that the NFL said, hey, let's put our best producers on this game. If you look at the coverage map from CBS, the whole entire country will be watching the Broncos and Ravens, because people deep down want to know if Denver's for real. That's what they want to know. Deep down, they won't say that they're curious, but they're curious. And for the first time in a long time, there's a reason to turn on a Broncos game. The Ravens are coming off of a loss. They're going to be pissed off. They're going to be mad. So nobody can say that this is a trap game, right? The Ravens obviously want to win this game. The Broncos obviously want to show the world that they can not just beat shitty teams, that they can beat good teams. So both of these teams, I do feel, are going to bring their best on Sunday. And I think it's going to be Sean Payton versus John Harbaugh. This is the coaching mismatch. Now, interestingly enough, if you look at the Baltimore Ravens, they have the number 1 ranked rushing defense in the NFL. And then they have the worst passing defense, 32nd ranked passing defense. And I have a map here. And basically what it is it shows you the defensive coverages during the 2024 season by percentage. So, for instance, the Broncos have been in cover 0, 8%, cover 1, 29%, cover 3, 30%. Now, if you look at the Carolina Panthers and the Baltimore Ravens, it's almost similar. It's almost the same. They both run a lot of cover 3 and cover 2. So the Baltimore Ravens, 33%, they're in cover 3. The Carolina Panthers, 50% are in cover 3. The second highest for the Ravens, 24% they're in cover 1. And for the Panthers, 20% they're in cover 1. Both of these teams have a bad passing defense, so I do think Bo Nix is going to light it up.
Oh, here we go.
I think Bo Nix is going to go out there, and I think he's going to throw for 3 touchdowns. I think he's going to have a lot of the same success we saw, because the blueprint is not to run the ball. Now Sean's going to try, and he should, but I hope that he doesn't spend too much time on that. Now, running the football against teams that are really good is important because you keep the star quarterback on the sideline, and that's really important when you're playing the Chiefs. But when you're playing a team that's 32nd in any defensive category, you have to expose that.
Yeah.
And for the Panthers, we did it last week, and we got to bring a similar game plan. It seems like ever since Sean stopped being so careful with Bo Nix and let him rip it, that dude is out there playing free. He's taking shots. He's going through progressions. He's making quick decisions. He's very smart, and he is clearly getting better every single week. He looks so much better than what he looked week 1 and week 2.
Yep.
And the Ravens, as good of a team as they are, a win would make us credible. But between you and me and everyone listening, the Ravens' passing defense is atrocious. I don't know if it would mean much in the grand scheme of things. A win would, because that means we shut down their running game and their offense. But Bo Nix having a big passing day, honestly, he should. He should, because of where they're at right now. I'm going to take Denver to win this game in Baltimore, because there will be a missed field goal at the end of the game by Justin Tucker, and the Broncos will win 24-23.
You said missed field goal, Justin Tucker, and I'm like, yeah, that checks hard. That checks really hard.
The Broncos are 9.5-point underdogs.
That's a lot of points.
That's a shit ton.
That's
so the
a lot
NFL,
of points.
the betting people are like, Denver's about to get smoked. I don't see it that way.
So you're right. Everything about the passing defense for the for the Ravens is rough. Kyle's struggling to drink. Take a drink of that. But if the Ravens came off a win, if the Ravens were able to beat the Browns last week, honestly, I think I'm picking Denver. But this is a game where the Ravens are mad about the loss against the Browns, and they want to win. They know they were better than that game against the Browns, and they know they can be better. So I feel like this may be an all-out offensive, like, juggernaut game that looks pretty sick. And while the Broncos have a really good defense, they're up there in red zone defense as well. I think they're like third, right around there. They have a defense that it just stymies people in terms of offensive production. I feel like the Ravens are not going to care. They're at home. They know, again, that they should not have lost that game against the Browns. While a division opponent is tough, yes, they still should not have lost that. So they're going to come out angry. Now, again, they came out of a win. I think I'm picking Broncos in this case, just like you. But the Ravens are at home, and they're pissed off. And I'm going to take the Ravens in this one. But
You're going to die tonight.
I think Bo Nix and the Broncos put up a really, really good fight in terms of points. Like I think this is going to be high 20s type of scoring on both sides. But the Ravens are going to take it at the end of the day, regardless of their bad defense. I think they're going to take the win.
If Denver wins this game and they beat the Chiefs next week,
yep,
will they be in your top 5?
Probably. Maybe.
Is Denver 2 wins away from Rick's top 5? I mean, the Ravens and then an undefeated Chiefs team, unless they lose to Tampa on Monday night.
Those are
then
good
all of a sudden,
wins.
I mean, to think.
Those are good wins.
Yeah, and I mean, how many teams have this opportunity? It's like 2 wins. If you can get the next 2 wins, the whole world will believe that you're a top 5 team. And Bo Leaf, and a team that nobody wants to face in the postseason. So I mean, if I'm Sean Payton, what I'm preaching all week is just embrace the opportunity that we have in front of us, and enjoy it, because we have played a lot of football where 2 wins in a row wouldn't mean anything. Here we are, 2 wins away from being something special, and that's just something to enjoy the process of. Don't let it, just go by. I hope they're really just enjoying what's in front of them right here, because I think for Bronco fans, it's just such an exciting time again. We haven't been excited in a while. I mean, we had that 5-game winning streak, but it all felt fluky kind of. Like, we are potentially going into a new era. The next game, the Miami Dolphins, who had Tua back last week, and I mean, it wasn't great. Tua didn't play his best game. Jalen Waddle, who fantasy managers drafted as a wide receiver 2, was, a flex at best. Tyreek Hill, I mean, he was there. No touchdowns. I think Raheem Mostert was the only guy maybe that got in, and it was his first touchdown of the season, and he led the league last year. The offense just is not rolling, but I mean, first game back, to be expected. Buffalo's a powerhouse. Buffalo, ever since they acquired Amari Cooper, that defense is getting better every single week. The offense looks better. I'm taking Buffalo, and I'll probably be taking Buffalo a lot until they lose.
Bill's laughing in the comments because of this comment he put up. I will drop a $20 super chat for you to get rid of the mask. You sound muffled. He's a man. He said, "Get that shit out of my ears. It sounds bad." Oh, Bill, you're a real one. You are a real one. Bills at home against the Dolphins. Kyle said it. Tua is back, not wearing the Guardian cap. What a silly goose he is, but they were close. They were very, very close last week to a win. Now, the offense looked better. Like, they're actually putting up more than single digits, more than 11, 12 points, which is great for them. But the Bills are a powerhouse right now. They are a powerhouse. They added Amari Cooper. He looks good. He's already, given returns on investment here. And Josh Allen is barely through his first pick in week 8. There's nothing to hate about this Bills team right now, especially after an offseason of a lot of doubt, a lot of questions. They're just doing a really, really good job this year with limited personnel, and really, like, kind of what Kyle was saying about the Broncos, not a lot of names on that defense. Offense really coming into the season. They drafted Keon Coleman, and he's been doing really well too. But not a lot of names that you recognized after the offseason of unloading players by the Bills. Whether they cut them, they got rid of them, they didn't renew their contracts, whatever. And we got Bill with the $20 super chat. He said, "I am a man of my word." Kyle's going to be very happy about that, Bill. I don't think it's difficult to go against the Bills right now, as we're talking about Bill with a $20 super chat. It's tough to go against the Bills right now. And the Dolphins, again, they have Tua back. They've still got Waddle. They still got Tyreek. The defense is something to be worried about. And I think the Bills are going to make this a pretty easy game for themselves. Again, this is the NFL. It's tough to win. It's tough to beat a team with, Mike McDaniels and Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill. Kyle, he paid up. Bill paid up. He's like, "I'm a man of my word. Let's go." And Kyle is the Broncos. He is Bo 6 right now. He is Bo 6. So I am taking the Bills to win this one all day and 3 times on Sunday.
Ready!
Omaha!
Hot! All right. The New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers. Would you look at that? An NFC South showdown. I mean,
this is a big one.
How? No other team is always playing rivalry games.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird.
The Bears don't play an NFC North opponent until 11, but the NFC South's getting all theirs out of the way the first few weeks.
That's what you think. And then week 15, 16, it'll be the same. And you're like, how?
They just played.
Yeah. Or the Saints and the Panthers. Look,
Nothing good.
both of these teams are not good. 2-6,
Mm-hmm.
1-7. Andy
Mm-hmm.
Dalton, he sprained his thumb, so Bryce Young was playing. I don't know if we're gonna get Bryce Young again.
True.
Or for the Saints, if Derek Carr's oblique is better. I mean, um, I'm gonna take Carolina.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Carolina. I'm taking the Saints. The Carolina Panthers are gonna be 1-15.
Yeah, this game is like two of the worst scary movies put together, and you're watching them back to back on a double feature, and it's like, I don't like either of these, and yet they're force feeding them to you. They're like, dude, this is what we got right now. This is the matchup we got. This is
They
the
should
double
flex
feature.
it to
Yeah,
Monday night.
this is
It'd be
this is like putting Bride of Chucky with Anaconda. It's a double feature, two scary movies, thrillers, whatever you want to call them, and
This
they're
game's
just
like
both
Saw.
bad.
The only way out is to cut your own leg off.
You gotta gouge your own eyes out to be able to get this thing off the screen. I'm going Saints in this one. The Panthers, like you said, like they're just bad, man. They're gonna go 1-15. They're gonna have the number 1 pick overall again, and it's just too bad that the Bears don't have that one because we'd love to load up. But I'm going Saints in this fucking NFC South showdown.
Yeah, and we might have even spent too much time talking about it.
I like this question by Bill, though. Carr or Richardson back this year? What's the over-under on either coming back? I give Carr a better chance.
Or Richardson. I mean, David Carr's only out because of an injury. So
Derek.
Or Derek Carr. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Anthony Richardson's out because of performance.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely say Derek Carr,
100%.
But good question. All right. Next up, we got a great game. The Raiders and the Bengals. Now, the Raiders are a pretty lousy team this year, but the Bengals only have one more win than them. But
yeah,
they do get T. Higgins back, which immediately makes the Bengals a better team. I mean, if you really look at the Bengals when they won their 2 in a row, is it a coincidence that it's the 2 games that T. Higgins was back? I mean, they lose all their games. T. Higgins comes back from injury and they win 2 in a row, and then he's out last week and they lose. T. Higgins, in my opinion, is a huge difference maker, and he's somebody that Joe Burrow really needs, so teams can't just solely focus on Jamar Chase.
Mm-hmm.
But the Raiders are just not a good team. This would be one of those games where somebody probably gets fired if the Bengals lose.
True.
It is one of those games where you just can't lose it. I'm going with the Bengals.
Yeah, this is a very, very easy one for me. I'm going with the Bengals. You're telling me pick this isn't a difficult pick like whatsoever. You're telling me to pick Michael Myers or the little fucking guy from Saw on the little bicycle. Yeah, I'm thinking Michael Myers to crush this motherfucker. There's nothing to cheer for on the Raiders. The Bengals have Joe Burrow. They got T. Higgins. They got Jamar Chase. They got Chase Brown, who's doing really well. The defense, again, is the only part that's struggling and really keeping the Bengals out of any sort of playoff conversation. The Raiders, on the other hand, Antonio Pierce, I don't know what's going to happen to him after this year. I don't know what they signed him for or what the deal is. He's not doing a great job, but maybe you should get some more time, especially when you have Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell having to choose between them for quarterback, right? They got rid of Devontae Adams. Max Crosby staying apparently, but I don't know. I feel like there's going to be a surprise trade at one point. But the Raiders just no good. No good. They're probably going to get rid of Jacoby Myers as well. Then they're really only going to have Brock Bowers and, to a lesser extent, Michael Mayer, who, remember when they picked him up in the draft last year and has made like zero noise? Yeah, they still got that guy, and those are going to be their 2 best weapons. So I'm going Bengals all day, especially at home.
All right, next up we got the Chargers taking on the Cleveland Browns. This game all of a sudden is kind of tough.
Yeah.
Kind of tough because I really do like the spark that Jameis Winston gave them. And the Chargers are a team that's getting better. It seems like every single week. But I find
internal dialogue.
One.
Internal dialogue happening with Kyle right now. What's Kyle thinking?
Talk me into this one.
Dude, this one was a little bit tough, and you're right. It's a little more exciting. But if I'm being honest, Jameis Winston last week was that starter, hasn't started in a while. We got to bring in Jameis because Deshaun's hurt and DTR was dog shit in his one start. That was the spark. And that is only going to last 1 week. I'm being honest. I think that's only going to last week against the Ravens. In my opinion, did Jameis give him the spark and they somehow play better? You also got Chubb back. He's playing really well, obviously coming back from that injury. I still think that only lasts 1 week. I like the Chargers in this one. I mean, Herbert, much better quarterback. J.K. Dobbins and who else was it? Who's the other running back? Either way, I am obviously going to take Chubb, but that 1-2 punch, other than Chubb, you got Jerome Ford, who's questionable or probably even out. He's the next best running back in Cleveland. I think when you're talking about quarterback rooms, running back rooms, and Ladd McConkey's doing really well, even wide receiver rooms. I mean, it's Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnson versus Jerry Jeudy and a plethora of other guys who are definitely in that Browns locker room. And then you get the coaches. I know Kevin Stefanski is a 2-time coach of the year, but he's going to coach his ass off in this game, especially with Jameis. I still got to go Chargers in this one. I love the talent more on the Chargers side, and Jameis Winston's spark is going to last a week. And that week was against the Ravens, which was a really good and impressive win, but they're going to look like shit. I think they're gonna come back down to earth against the Chargers. That Jameis Winston vibe was 1 week long.
Yeah, I mean, I think even if they come back down to earth, we're talking a 3-point win for either team. The best bet in this game is the under because you got two offenses that are the bottom two of the league. So, but Cleveland hadn't scored more than 27 points once this whole season, and they scored 29 with Jameis Winston. And if they can put up that against the Ravens, well, I don't know if the Chargers can. So
true.
It's a home game. I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to take the Browns to win. I'm going to go with the home team. It's a toss-up game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the emotion and the Chargers coming off a pretty good win, and I like the direction they're headed in, but if it's a total tie, I'm going to take the home team. The Commanders at New York Giants. The Commanders come into this game as 3.5-point favorites. Seems kind of low. No offense to Bill. I know he said nothing can hurt me anymore. So
feel that.
I think it's just because of Jaden Daniels and his availability, but his ability to get through a full game against the Bears last week, it suggests that he should be able to go. And the Commanders right now are just a better team than the Giants. These divisional games, though, they can be close. This game is going to be at MetLife. Daniel Jones, though, I mean, statistically, the defense even, at home, they give up, I think they gave up 100% of red zone trips turned into touchdowns the last 3 games. And then it was 85%, I think, the last 3 games. And then at home, no, I'm saying at home, they give up 85%. On the road, it's like 25%. The Giants are a much better team on the road. The Commanders, I think, are the better team right now. I'm going to take the Commanders.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bill, this one's kind of an easy one for me. It's the Commanders. They're the one of the highest scoring offenses in the league, if not the highest scoring offense in the league. While the Giants, I love their defense at home. Like Kyle said, they're giving up a shit ton of points and giving up a lot in the red zone as well. We got brother T. Rick looks too comfortable. I'm being eaten by by an octopus here, brother T. Leave me be. I'm trying to get comfortable in death. But the Giants, yeah, you start Daniel Jones, and you're gonna start Daniel Jones because your backups are Drew Lock and Tommy Tuds. So you're obviously gonna go with the better option, I guess, in a sense there. This is no brainer, man. I think they're gonna give Jane Daniels a lot of trouble, and we saw the how much the Bears defense was able to give him trouble. He's gonna go against better defenses, maybe a little bit more pressure. That offensive line is holding well though, but I think that the Giants can put a lot of pressure on him. But I'm still gonna go Commanders here. They're gonna take the dub and might be a close game because the Giants are at home. But I'm taking.
I just don't know why the
Commanders.
Giants won't play Drew Lock. Just try it. I mean,
just try it, sure, but I feel like it's not going to be a very much difference.
well, I mean, respectfully, he's played with 2 defensive coaches, and now he has an offensive coach.
Yeah.
And we just don't even know. That's the beauty of it. Like,
I mean, it might be a good pairing. He might be
it
better.
might be worth. I mean, you're not. What do you? Is it the playoffs that you're fighting for? I mean, like, what do you have to lose?
That's true.
I feel like if I'm Dable, I'm like, you know what, Drew, go out there, and if you suck, we'll go back to Daniel Jones. We just want to
True.
see one
Yeah.
game. I mean, one thing about Antonio Pierce for the Raiders that I respect is that he's like, yeah, Riddler's going this week. You know,
Yeah.
we're going to bench Gardner Minshew and put in O'Connell.
Mhm.
If you're not winning, just try something different. Don't just keep doing it for 4 years. Like, it's just worth a try. That's all I'm
I need
saying.
you to talk to the Bears with that.
The New England Patriots going to Tennessee. A lot of gross games this week.
Disgusting
Just
games.
disgusting.
Mhm.
I mean, seriously, like Chargers and Cleveland and Bengals and Raiders and Saints and Panthers. Oh,
Bad.
gross.
Just bad.
It is bad. Watch this be an awesome week.
It's going to be the best week of all time.
Yeah. No idea who's going to be at quarterback with Will Levis and Drake May both on the injury report right now. This game could be a matchup between Jacoby Brissett and Mason Rudolph because of the concussion to Drake May. I mean, if the game couldn't get any uglier, it just did. This is just a wild thing to say. Mason Rudolph versus Jacoby Brissett, week 9. Here we are.
For the playoffs.
The Titans, man, I mean, I don't even know. Like, the Titans are -3 points, but the Patriots just beat the Jets. I'm going to take the Patriots, I guess.
Yeah. This is one, like you said, it's just a disgusting game.
I'm 0-8.
Let it. The brother T said, "Let it be known."
I'm
Also,
actually proud of it because it's a good squad.
He also wants you to look at that fantasy trade and then review it live. This one is tough for me because, oh god, the Titans defense is actually decent, especially in the passing game. And while the Patriots have a really good running game in Ramondre Stevenson, they looked much more fluid, much more smooth with Drake May running the offense than Jacoby Brissett has looked for those first few weeks as he was a starter. If Drake May is out, unfortunately, I still got to take the Patriots because I feel like the Titans are going to do something to screw this game up, whether it's a Rudolph strip sack, whether it's an interception, something like that. It is going to come down to some sort of turnover that the Titans give to the Patriots, and the Patriots are going to score some amount of points off of it, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown. But this is going to be a pretty ugly game on both sides because it's going to be Jacoby Brissett starting if it isn't Drake May. If it's Drake May, it's going to look a lot smoother. Maybe the Patriots win by a touchdown. But if it's Jacoby Brissett, maybe they win by a field goal or less. So I'm still going to take the Patriots because the Titans are just kind of dog shit.
Yeah, and I have no idea.
Mm.
Yeah. The Bears at the Arizona Cardinals.
Let's go.
And
Kyle's gotta get the playbook. Oh, we got Woody with the helmet on.
let's go.
Woody's like, this is my life. Why?
All right. We got the Bears at the Cardinals.
Let's do it.
Bears have to go on the road here. And I think it's fair to say that both of these teams have had great moments and both of these teams have had bad moments.
Yeah.
The Cardinals coming off of 2 or 3 straight wins, and I thought they looked really good. No one was really giving them a shot against Miami with Tua coming back, and it was like one of those wins where they were like, dang, the Cardinals could be really good. Now the Bears, I talked about the passing defense thing yesterday, so I won't get into it. All I'll say is that the Cardinals have the 25th, I believe, or 24th ranked passing defense. So this should be a game where Caleb Williams plays pretty good, and I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I'm feeling this game being like a 35-31 type of game. Being on the road and in Arizona, it's going to be a tough place to play. I think this is a good sell high spot for Arizona, and I'm going to take the Bears.
Let's go, baby. Yeah, oh man, where do I start? This is a game for the Bears where you're pissed off about the way you lost last week against the Washington Commanders. The defense especially. They knew that they had them dead to rights. They held them to 12 points basically through 3 quarters, 14 minutes and 59 seconds up until that last second Hail Mary. Now, Kyler Murray, Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., those guys are going to be a problem for this defense. But unless they have some sort of like long kind of pass for a touchdown, a long run to a touchdown, if they get in the red zone, I think the Bears defense is going to be able to hold them. And I think I'm going to be predicting 2 turnovers for the Cardinals that the Bears are going to get on defense. I think it's going to be a fumble, and I think it's going to be an interception, whether it be a strip sack, whether it be a fumble on a running back. It's going to be a fumble. It's going to be an interception. The Bears turnover differential is top 10, top 6, 5, something like that. I know the Packers are up there for sure too. And they weren't able to take the ball away. They're mad at themselves. They didn't respect football last week because of the Tyreek Stevenson thing. So I'm gonna go with the Bears defense to really, really get to that hits principle that Eberflus has, and that one of them is taking the ball away. The offense, like you said, Caleb Williams, need him to do really well in this game, 300 plus, 3 touchdown type of game against this Cardinals pass offense, or pass defense, I should say. And I think he's going to want to. I think he's going to want it really bad for himself, but he's definitely more of a team guy. The way he talks to the media, the way he talks about the game, he's definitely the kind of guy who's going to be like, hey, whoever's got the juice in that game, that's who we're going to give it to. Whether it's DJ Moore, whether it's DeAndre Swift, whether it's Cole Kmet, that's who we're going to feed all day and get the team win. Now, the only thing that I can see going wrong is another fuck up on the offensive play calling and just the coaching in general. That has got to stop, right? That has got to be the one thing where we go back to last week and like, okay, we fucked up on this play call. We fucked up not calling this. We did this badly. We need to improve on this. and they need to apply it to this game again. After the Texans and after the Colts, Shane Waldron and Eberflus like somehow got it together. They ripped off 3 wins in a row going into their bye week. A lot of people said it may have been a bad time for the bye week, and obviously against the Commanders, it showed that they do nothing in the bye week in terms of game planning. So they need to get right starting in week 9 because it's going to be a tough road week 11 and on against all of the NFC North divisional opponents. They need to get this one against Arizona, and they need to get a win next week against the Patriots. And I think they're going to put it all together, realize what they have, and make it a classic game, kind of like Friday the 13th. You love it. It's still fresh. It's scary, and it's going to kill the Cardinals. I'm taking Bears by 10 points in this game. Bear down.
Bear down. And then you got Coach Romeo.
Coach Romeo, what do you mean?
After the Cardinals game. They are who we thought they were.
Romeo
And we let them off the hook. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
They crown their ass.
But we let them off the hook.
Let them off the hook.
All right. The last thing to note is that the Bears have had the second easiest strength of schedule up to this point, and Arizona has had the hardest. So hard. Arizona, we talk about them, they win 2 and they lose 1. Yeah, they're playing really hard teams. They're playing a lot of tough teams with a lot of new players. So this is going to be exciting because I do think Arizona and Chicago, right now, they are both in a position where we're like, are you good? Are you not good?
Yeah.
And I think this is a very even match. I mean, normally I would give the edge to the defensive team, which I am here with the Bears. The only thing is we saw how good the Bears defense was last week, keeping them in the game against a good offense with Jaden Daniels. I think that'll be the case again with the Cardinals offense, but the Cardinals defense is worse than the Commanders. So I think they're going to have more success on offense. Playing the Jaguars playing the Philadelphia Eagles. This is going to be at Lincoln Financial Field. So we won't have to see the the head coach arguing with opposing fans.
No, Sirianni was talking to his fans.
Oh, he was talking to his fans,
so he might do it.
What a loser. The Eagles are 7.5 point favorites. No, this is my bet of the week. I'm not saying I did this last week with the Browns, right? I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm saying they could win, but I am saying that the Eagles don't win by 7.5. The Jaguars, they played. I think the Packers are better than the Eagles at this point in the season. I think they're pretty close to each other, but you saw how the Jags played that game last week. The thing is no Brian Thomas Jr. dealing with a rib contusion. I don't know about Gabe Davis if he's going to be able to go. So you're going to have a big game for Evan Ingram. If you have Evan Ingram on your bench, flex him because he is going to be getting 10 to 12 targets. He's going to be a receiver. And if you have a really good tight end, flex him. It is that type of game for him. But it's a road game for a Jacksonville team that is just losing almost all their games, it seems like. But it does feel like Jacksonville is really close every single week. I think Trevor Lawrence just isn't bad enough to have these like collapses. Yeah. And 7.5 seems a little generous. I wouldn't be surprised if by kickoff this line is bet down to 7 or even 6.5.
So you're taking Eagles?
I'm gonna take Jacksonville plus 7.5.
What are you taking to win?
I feel
like that's Eagles.
I'll take the Eagles to win, but Jacksonville plus 7.5 because that
bet of the week.
Yeah, that's my bet of the week because I don't know. I just Trevor Lawrence is a little. He's not that kind of quarterback. I mean, I know Philly's playing better, but is Jacksonville going to get crushed?
True.
I mean, what do you think? Do you think that it could be Eagles 31, Jags 17, or is this more like Eagles 20, Jags 14?
Well, let me ask you this question: who's the better team, the Bengals or the Jags?
The Bengals or the Jags? The Bengals.
They wiped the floor with the Bengals last week, dude. And I'm
No
not
T. Higgins.
right. But they wiped the floor with the Bengals last week. And I'm not trying to make the comparison of, oh, you beat this team and it's this one on paper is better than this one. I'm not trying to do that. It's just, what was that?
No, I said that's exactly what you're doing.
That's exactly what I'm doing, but I'm not doing it.
With all due respect.
With with all due respect to not doing that, I'm gonna do it. It just like the Jags have just gotten their asses kicked in games this year where it has just not looked good on any level, whether it's defense, whether it's Trevor Lawrence and the offensive side of the ball, just not doing it, turning the ball over at inopportune times, not being able to run the ball, not being able to stop the pass. The Jags in just all aspects of the game this year have looked bad. Now this, I feel like, could be somewhat of a trap game, especially with the line where it is at the Jaguars +7 for the Eagles. But I don't know, man. Something about the way that Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith and Saquon Barkley have played the game, especially last week, it's just looks so much smoother now. For some reason, like I feel like that second half collapse from last year, it started in the first 2-3 games and people were questioning it, but now it's actually on the rise. Like I feel like they're kind of getting a little bit closer to their Super Bowl year in terms of just being on the team, right? So I'm going to go with
points per game. They're 29th. Jacksonville's defense is really a huge problem.
Really? Wow. Yeah, no, see, and I mean, that's what I got to go with. I got to go with these offensive guys. I know the defense is starting to look better too. Vic Fangio's defense and the concepts and being able to grasp them over these first few games are starting to get a little bit better for the Eagles too. And I know we talked about that last night. So I think I got to go with the up and up team here, man. I got to go with the Eagles and fly, Eagles, fly. They're going to win it at the link, baby.
You remember when I saw this comment by Bill? And I was like, do you remember when the Giants and Eagles played and Bill was like, nobody cares about that trade anymore?
Was it Bill?
Yeah, and we were like, you care. And then he's like, no, we like Singletary.
No, was that? I don't think that was Bill. No way. Bill hates Saquon.
No, he said it. Bill will
I don't remember. I really don't remember. Bill?
But I'm
Receipts?
like, Bill's speaking truth. I knew
He
it.
is.
I
He
knew
is,
it.
Yep.
The
Deep
Chargers
down.
somehow still average only giving up 13 points per game.
They're good.
That's
man.
unreal.
It is. It really is.
That is like, I don't even know. That's got to be some kind of just crazy. If they can somehow pull this off the whole season, they're going to be the first team in decades to do that. Next up, we got a matchup between the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. Woo!
This
The
is a
game's
good
in
one.
Lambeau.
Yep.
The game's in Lambeau. This game happened last year on Thanksgiving. The Lions were really good. The Jordan Love-led Packers were just starting to figure it out. The game was actually, I believe it was in Detroit.
Yep.
And that's what started Jordan Love's run. So we know that Jordan Love can beat the Lions. He did it last year. This is a better defense. Now, the Lions are obviously the hottest team in the NFL right now. They just blasted Tennessee by 38. The Packers are dealing with an injury. Even if you get Jordan Love playing in this game, I don't know what version we're going to get. Green Bay still, though, They've won 4 in a row, and if they're not the hottest team, they're in the conversation as second or third. Um, the
I would say the
Lions,
Bears are the hottest team.
the, the Lions are 3.5-point favorites.
Yep.
I would probably lean Detroit to win by more than 3.5. Um, I don't see unless Jordan Love's gonna be fully healthy. Now, if Jordan Love was fully healthy, I'm actually taking the Packers here. But that is, you just can't deal with this Malik Willis stuff against the hottest team in the league. It's like I'm not even gonna entertain it. Um, and I don't know what version of Love we're gonna get. But I will just say this: I'm picking the Lions. But if Jordan Love goes out there in the first quarter and he's moving around and he doesn't look like he has any limitations, just know that I'm watching this game and I'm thinking that the Packers are going to win.
Jordan Love is determined to play in this game. I mean, obviously, he went out last week with the groin injury. He hasn't practiced this week so far, but he is determined to play against the Lions. And this is a big matchup. This is my game of the week right here between the two top teams in the NFC North right now. Whether or not the record says the Vikings are number 2, like the Packers are clearly that much better than the Vikings. This is my game of the week because of just how well the Lions have dominated this year. I know you mentioned last week against, on Thanksgiving when the Packers and Jordan Love, he's starting to, turn on the MVP talks for him. He ended up being second in total touchdowns last year behind Dak, and it kind of started in that Thanksgiving game. But these are not the same Lions from last year. There is something completely different. And again, this is without Aiden Hutchinson on the defense. This is without their captain on the defense. The fact that they're still able to dominate the way they have without Hutchinson, who is just a monster, is really telling of the coaching staff and how well this team is coached, their maturity, how much they respect each other in the game and the locker room and everybody. Like, they're just doing everything right. Goff looks like an MVP, and they have the two-headed monster there with Montgomery and Gibbs, and Amon-Ra St. Brown is just a legit number 1 wide receiver. I'm also gonna take the Lions here, even though they're going into Lambeau. The Packers have a really good test ahead of them because the Texans really has been their best win. Although last week, who did they just finish playing? Who did they just finish playing last week?
The Texans?
Was it last week that they beat? No.
No, last week the Lions beat Tennessee.
No. The Packers.
Jacksonville.
Yeah, because the Texans still for right now is that is their best win, was the Texans. So that defense is going to need to really, really kind of just look into themselves and be like, how are we going to stop this ridiculous Lions offense?
You said that was their best win?
The Texans, the Packers?
The Packers' best win was against the Texans, you're saying?
Yeah. I think that was their best win because other than that, I mean, it's talking about who have they played, right? Like, and again, this isn't Packers hate because what have we been talking about? You play who you play on the schedule, and that's who you play. Like, it doesn't matter what their rank is at what point in time. It's, are you able to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat? And they have. And the Texans, while it was a last-second field goal, that's how you got to win sometimes. You got to win with a last-second field goal. That has clearly been their best win in terms of the season, but they have one of the best point differentials in the league. They're probably second or third. And everybody in the NFC North right now has a really good point differential. So they're probably like second or third in terms of point differential. And that's what you're supposed to do when you have the schedule that you have. Beat the shit out of those teams. Beat Jacksonville. Beat the hell out of Arizona. Beat the hell out of whoever else, right? And then you're going to have those close games against top teams like the Texans. But going into this one, man, I think the Lions have just shown so far through 8 weeks of football, that they're going to be the NFC representative in the Super Bowl. And there's nothing that in their eyes is standing in their way other than being there. So I love what the Lions are doing. Again, coming out of mediocrity 3 years ago with Dan Campbell in a really bad season, to going to the NFC Championship, to now this year having Super Bowl in their mind is going to be a tough test for the Packers defense. Whether or not it's Malik Willis or whether it's Jordan Love, it's still going to be tough enough for the offense, although I still think they can put points on the board on the Lions defense. This is going to be my game of the week because I think this is going to come down to a last-second touchdown, a last-second field goal. Like it may even go in overtime. That's how good this game is going to be. But at the end of the day, I'm taking Lions.
All right. Next, we got. Oh, this is going to be my game of the week.
Let's
go.
It's
not. No. I think it's going to be a great game, but I'm going to save my game of the week. But the Rams with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua back, they are a totally different team, and they're a beast.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Seattle, getting embarrassed at home, usually you bounce back from that, right?
It's just a common occurrence now.
They haven't lost like that.
True, but they just keep losing at home.
They do keep losing at home, but getting embarrassed at home, it usually favors, it helps you the next week, statistically, like historically, I mean. So Seattle is not going to lose like that. They're going to, arguably, they're going to play their best game of the year on Sunday. And the Rams, They came off a really great win. The NFC West, it's still a 4-team race right now. Matthew Stafford, though, he's the better quarterback.
Yeah.
Sean McVay's the better coach. They have the better weapons. I like the Jared Verse and Brendan Fisk. They are starting to get, after the quarterback, they're starting to generate that pass rush. I'm going to take the Rams here, but I think this game is going to be very close, and I think it's going to come down to the very end. Seahawks actually open up as 1-point favorites.
That's wow. That's kind of surprising a bit. I mean, I know 1 point isn't terrible, but that is a little surprising.
For the Rams, and we're like all in.
Yeah, that's kind of true. Like you said, like you pointed out the obvious with Puka Nacua, with Cooper Kupp, and Matthew Stafford. Like that team just seems to look unstoppable, man. The offense is good. The defense obviously needs some work, but the Seahawks at home right now, 2-3, they just haven't looked good since the start of the season when they went 3-0. I think you called them out as the most fraudulent 3-0 team, and it turned out to be true because the Vikings still have a winning record. The Pittsburgh Steelers are atop the AFC North, and the Chiefs are still undefeated. So yeah, the Seahawks definitely turned out to be the more fraudulent 3-0 team to start the season. So I don't know, man. I love what's going on in Seattle in the offensive side and even more so the defensive side. But for some reason, after the start, they just have not been able to get it together. Like with DK Metcalf out too, that definitely, kind of, I feel like limits the offense because Jackson Smith-Njigba, like he has games where he looks good and he looks like he could be a wide receiver 1. And then he has some games where he's just absent and doesn't get any receptions until the fourth quarter. And it's like, dude, are you serious? Like you're supposed to be this really good wide receiver out of Ohio State. So I don't know. There's sometimes when he's absent and you need Lockett to step it up, which he's always there for a sure catch. But DK Metcalf missing right now from the offense is obviously taking a huge hit on that. And Kenneth Walker again too. Like if it's a good run defense, Kenneth Walker isn't doing anything, like nothing in the run game. I still like their defense. They intercepted Josh Allen for the first time last week, but yeah, you're right, man. I like everything else that's going on the LA side with the Rams, and I'm also going to take the Rams to take a dub against a division opponent in their home turf. I'm going Rams.
All right, and the team the Rams beat, Indianapolis Colts at Minnesota Vikings. This is Sunday Night Football. The Vikings are 5.5-point favorites.
Slowly.
They're free falling. She's a good girl.
Na 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 na. She's a man, girl.
And I'm
free. falling.
No, but they've lost 2 in a row. This is a 5-0 team, and now they're at home. Indianapolis Colts coming in, a well-coached team. The Vikings not only have the home field advantage over the Colts, they also have the rest advantage because they have the mini bye after playing Thursday night, so they've had more rest.
Yeah.
Their defense, they're going to get after the quarterbacks, and that's what they do. Anthony Richardson isn't playing right. It's Joe Flacco after getting benched. So I think that definitely makes the Colts a better team. I don't know if it makes them a good enough team to beat the Vikings. I'm going to go with the Vikings at home with the
Skull.
It's going to be a good game, though.
Yeah,
I'm taking the over on points.
What's the over?
Right now, it's set at 46.5.
46.
So 23-24 is what they're thinking. I think it's going to be more like 28-24.
Oh, okay. Now, I don't know if I agree with the over. I know it's Joe Flacco, and he actually gets the ball to his wide receivers, like, Pittman and Downs, a little bit more effectively than Richardson does. And that gives you a little bit more hope as a Colts fan, other than Richardson. I don't know if they score that many points, because one of the biggest credits to the Vikings defense so far has been being able to confuse the quarterback and the offense, as well as being able to get to the quarterback. Now, you lose some of that mobility with Richardson sitting and bringing in Flacco. So I think the Vikings defense is going to be able to get a lot of pressure on Flacco, who stays in the pocket and releases the ball pretty quickly and will take chances. And I think both the pressure on that, plus the amount of times Flacco gets intercepted, is going to bode really, really well for the Vikings defense. So I don't know if it's going to be a lot of points on the Colts side, although I hope so, because I am starting a couple of their receivers in my fantasies this week. But I think the Vikings at the end of the day are going to take this dub against the Colts. Darnold, I said last week, was going to be starting in the downhill turn, but this might be one of those games where he doesn't look great. He doesn't look like Darnold of week 1 through 5, but I think he's going to do enough and look good enough against this Colts defense where the Vikings are going to be able to take a lead, be comfortable with that lead, and maybe bring in their backups. I'm taking the Vikings to win this game at home with the Skull.
I love it. You and I agreeing on Halloween. This is awesome.
Right?
And the fact that the Vikings have lost 2 in a row, this is like Get Out, the scary movie, right?
Yep.
They're in their head.
Yep.
Right? Has somebody taken over?
There's a little bit of racism going on. Yep.
I wasn't going that route. I was not at all, but we got the Vikings maybe in their head a little bit after losing 2 in a row. Can they get out of their own head and get back to winning? Monday Night Football and my game of the week.
Woo!
My game of the week was the Broncos Ravens. Come on.
Let's be real.
Yeah, but a good game. The Buccaneers at Kansas City. Kansas City, at this point, it just doesn't feel like this is the loss, right? I mean,
yeah,
the Bucs, no Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin for the Falcons game, but this is why you paid Baker $100 million. Their offense still, I think, left all of us pretty encouraged. Like, we did not see the Bucs just fold, and I actually bet on them to win that game. I was like, I'm betting on Baker Mayfield. And I do not have regret about that decision based on what we saw in Cade Otton.
Yeah.
I mean, he's emerged as a great option for Baker Mayfield, and they're going to need more of that. But I think what is going for Tampa here is that Kansas City struggled to defend tight ends this year. That has been kind of their Achilles heel defensively, and there's not much there that you can exploit besides that. So I think even if the Chiefs get out to an early lead, the backdoor cover remains open. They're 9-point favorites. I like the Bucks to cover that. The Chiefs don't win big. They haven't won big this whole year. This is my second bet in the bets of the week because the Chiefs are not going to win this game by 9 points. I think they can win, but I am going with a 27-23 type of game. Now, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, if they're in the game, I'm taking Tampa straight up.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for the Chiefs, they're number one in the luck rankings. This is the kind of stuff that goes their way. I mean, it's not just the teams they play, but it's how that team looks when you play them. That's gone the Chiefs' way quite a bit this year, including this one.
Yeah, and it sucks because, you know, they're number one in the luck rankings for the Chiefs, and they got DeAndre Hopkins just now, and they got Uche from the Patriots. So they added two guys who can make a big difference, especially with DeAndre Hopkins on the offensive side, to their team at 7-0. Like, yeah, you talk about luck rankings, and it's just like the rich get richer, baby. Like the Chiefs just continue to make moves at the right time for the right guys. Kareem Hunt is another one. Like they are able to keep this ship afloat regardless of Isaiah Pacheco being out, Rashee Rice being out, right? Getting rid of Tyreek Hill 2 years ago. Like they are still able to do this, and it's all because of the guys at the top. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and I think that is going to be the much, much better option than Baker Mayfield and his head coach. I always forget his name. What's his name?
Andy Reid.
Nope, the Bucks head coach.
Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles. I always forget Bowles' name, but I'm like, Bowles, just think of a bowl. I like them a little bit. I like them a lot more, and Baker Mayfield's is going to do his best. He's a good quarterback, man. Like I've loved Baker ever since he's come out of college, right? And he was with the Browns. I really did think he was going to be the guy with the Browns, and they kicked him off to the side. He goes to Tampa after a couple stops somewhere else, and he is being the guy now. They paid him. He's able to get the ball to Cade Otton, to that rookie wide receiver that we were talking about during the game that Mike Evans and Godwin went out. I forget his name, but now he's able to get it to these other guys and do some things that we talked about good quarterbacks being able to do, and that's get it to the other wide receivers. But the talent level is just too much on the Kansas City side. They've got way too many playmakers on that side of the ball now. I'm going Kansas City for this one.
All right. Rick going Kansas City, and that wraps up our Week 9 predictions. And I think it's time for...
Top 5, no debating. Top 5.
Top 5, Kyle.
Top 5.
Top 5, no debating. Top 5.
Let's do it. Going into Week 9, we are going to start off our
They switch just like we do.
5.
They went through 2 days. We went through 2 days at 110 degrees.
I love it. Friday Night Lights, baby. Friday Night Lights.
Let's tap on this.
All right, Tua, settle down. We're going to go through our top 5 going into Week 9. I think I started off last week. Kyle, would you like to start it off?
At number 5, I have the Denver Broncos.
Woo, shit.
I have the Denver Broncos. The offense is finally rolling. You're giving up 15 points per game on average. 15 points per game. The Chargers and the Steelers are the only teams better. Steelers are 14.9, and all of a sudden Denver's offense is rolling. I think this might seem crazy to some people, but once they beat the Ravens on Sunday, I think everyone's going to be like, oh, crap. And then they're going to beat the Chiefs, and everyone's going to be like, is this one of the best teams in the AFC? If not, the best team. Because who are the two best teams in the AFC? Chiefs and Ravens.
Chiefs and Ravens.
You beat the two best teams in the AFC. You're the best team in the conference. Long way to go. That's why they're at 5 and not at 2.
Love it. Love it. And Bill, I do remember I've got it actually saved. Once we're all done, we will get to your question. Casey saying surprise, surprise. My number 5 is going to be the team that just beat my Bears. I'm going to go with the Commanders at number 5. Your offense has been one of the top scoring offenses in the NFL for this entire season. Now, the defense obviously needs a little bit of work, but against the Bears, they looked really, really good. And I'm putting them up there because Jane Daniels is just playing his ass off under pressure. He's able to get the ball down the field. He's able to get a lot of yards. And while the scoring hasn't really been there, at least from, against the Bears, I still think they're going to be a high-powered offense no matter who they play week in and week out. I got the Commanders at 5. They're going to be good. They're going to be
I know what you're doing.
What?
You're elevating the Bears by elevating the team that beat them.
No, not really. Not really. No.
Commanders are number 5. They're one of the best teams in the league. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's there.
No, they are.
And yeah, they're up there. I don't know if maybe for me they're in my top 5. Maybe they're not a top 5 for anybody else, but they have been creeping week after week higher and higher and have gotten into a lot of top 10s over the last couple weeks. But for me, they're number 5.
At number 4, I have the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs haven't lost a game yet. I'm going to continue to say that they look beatable until they have even one win that looks like the one the Lions had, right? The Lions, they win like that all the time. The Chiefs, they haven't. So you can't just go off the record here.
Yeah.
Because if the Lions and Chiefs play tomorrow, everyone would pick the Lions. Now they're dealing with a ton of injuries. Is DeAndre Hopkins expected to take on a bigger role? Finally, they got Xavier Worthy very involved in this game plan. He had like 8 touches in the first 3 quarters, and that's a lot different than what we saw week 1 through 8. It seems like maybe he's starting to grasp the playbook in a way where they can start getting creative with him and actually letting him be a actual weapon in these games. So I'm excited to see. I mean, not really, but I'm excited to see. I have Xavier Worthy on fantasy. If he takes on a bigger role, and DeAndre Hopkins. And then defensively, they're pretty damn good, and that's the reason they have that record. So Kansas City, no, they're not the best team in the NFL right now, but yes, they haven't lost, and that definitely puts you in a top 5.
Yeah, I've actually got the Chiefs at number 4 as well. I think last week, I forget exactly where I had them at last week. They were at number 5, and they just keep winning. So they go up a spot. But yeah, man, to be undefeated is a huge, huge achievement. Regardless of how you do it, right? Whether it's luck, whether it's you're a good offense and a good defense, to be undefeated in the NFL is really difficult to do, and the Chiefs are doing it again in a year where they're looking for their 3rd straight Super Bowl. So a lot of credit to them, especially with the losses. So Chiefs at number 4.
All right, at number 3, I got the Packers. I can't really move them right now all that much. I think I had them at 2 last week. The reason they dropped is because of the way they won. 2 last-second field goals not looking great offensively in that last game. Now, there was, 3 weeks ago, Jaden Reed was more involved. Tucker Kraft was more involved. I mean, it's hard. It's kind of like the Chiefs, right? It's hard to demote teams that win. But the Packers, to me, I couldn't justify having them at 2 this week, even though they're coming off of a lot or a win. So we'll see how they do against Detroit. That could change everything. But the Packers are still one of the hottest teams in the NFL. And Jordan Love, if he's healthy, Packers are really, really good.
My number 3 team is going to be the Ravens. I've got the Ravens at number 3. It was a tough loss against the Browns. Again, it's a divisional opponent. It's always tough to beat the Browns. It's always tough to beat a team in your own division. But they're knocked down a few spots because of that loss. Now, I'm not going to take them out of my top 5. I don't think it was that bad of a loss, or they haven't been doing that great this season. They're still a very, very good team. They've got Lamar Jackson playing like an MVP. They still got to work on that secondary, that passing defense for sure. But right now they're beating teams at a ridiculous clip, and that loss takes them down a couple spots, but they are still in the top 5. Ravens number 3.
At number 2, let me check my play really quick.
Hot.
I got the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens. I'm not looking into that loss. I'm not. You got the spark. You got the spark from the quarterback. You got the Cleveland Browns at home. You got a division rivalry. I mean, it's going to happen every single year. No matter how good these teams are, they're going to beat each other up. That's what the AFC North is about, more so than any other division in the NFL. So, yeah, they did that. Is Lamar Jackson not the front runner for MVP? Is Derrick Henry not the best running back in football right now?
Yep.
Did they not just make a trade for Deontay Johnson? This is about where they are now. Right now, they're better than they were last week at this time because Deontay Johnson's on the team. Defensively, they have their flaws, and then there's areas where they're the best. The Ravens are just one of those teams that when it comes to the AFC right now, it's theirs to lose.
You like that comment there, Kyle? And look at that profile pic.
Ravens, bang, upset.
Yep, there you
bang
go.
Up, upset.
Jose.
I already called it. I called it earlier. Check the tape.
Check the tape. My number 2 team, number 2, right? My number 2 team is going to be the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen and this team of misfits that should not be doing what they're doing right now, except Josh Allen is the quarterback, and he is always going to put them in a position to win. That's exactly where they're at right now. I've got the Bills at number 2. They looked not great during the middle of the season so far, but Josh Allen is still keeping them in games. Keon Coleman stepping it up. Again, the addition of Amari Cooper is huge, and the defense is playing pretty much honestly, like I was saying earlier, like they're like the Broncos defense. Not a lot of people that you recognize name-wise, but they are stepping it up and being able to shut these guys down. So I'm going Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen at number 2.
Yeah, I'm going to put Denver at 6 and slide everything down and put Buffalo at 2. I had actually Buffalo at 2. So
you're taking the...
Yeah.
Oh, Chiefs, you said the Broncos. Okay.
Yeah, so the Chiefs 5, Packers 4, Ravens 3, Bills 2. And my number 1 hasn't changed for 4 weeks.
Yep.
Best team in the NFL. It might be longer. I think I've had the Lions at 1 all year. Have I ever moved off the Lions at 1? No.
You put Bills number 2 as well, right?
The very first power ranking we did, actually, I think we posted it as on our community on the Only Football podcast because we were
Week
like,
1. Yep, you had Lions number 1.
week 1.
Week 1. Week 2, Lions. Week 3. Oh, I don't have the week 3 ones. Shit. At least I didn't write them down.
Yeah,
Week
there's no way I moved him.
Week
I would've-
4, you did. You had the
For who?
Lions at 4 and the Jets at 1. Week 5, Lions at 2.
That didn't age.
Week 6, Lions back at 1. Week 7, Texans at 1 and Lions at 5.
Texans
week-
at 1?
Yeah.
I
Week-
never did that.
You did. Yep, you did.
What week was that?
This was week 7. And then week 8, you had him back at number 1. And now going into week 9, you have him at 1.
So week 7, it was the week 7 predictions episode.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna check the tape on that. But yeah, number 1, I'm going with the Lions.
Mhm.
They're an absolute dog. Jahmyr Gibbs right now. I mean, I went over all the records yesterday that the Lions are
Yep.
breaking, but you know, you did say earlier like the Lions feel different this year. To me, they don't. To me, the Lions felt this good last year, and the only difference was the 49ers. The Lions had more competition last year.
Yeah.
The 49ers were a better team last year. The Eagles were struggling,
Mhm.
but that was pretty much it. The Lions don't have that number 2 team that's kind of threatening them right now. The closest thing to it, in my opinion, Green Bay and then the Eagles. Now, Green Bay, if they win on Sunday, a lot's going to change with that. So
Yeah.
that's a huge game coming up for the Lions and the Packers. But even if the Packers win, it's going to matter how they win. Like if they handle the Lions,
Mhm.
all of a sudden you're going to be like, well, maybe that was just a bad game. If it's a last second field goal, maybe you feel like the Lions are a little bit worse, if that makes sense. So like
Yeah.
if the Packers blow them out, the Lions could still be at number 1, and you're just like, they just didn't play, they didn't show up. But
Had
if
an
they
off week.
lose by a last second field goal, you're like, the Packers are better than the Lions. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see, you know, not just who wins, but how they win.
Yeah, I've also got the Lions at number 1. I feel like a lot of people know this already. The Lions are the best team in the NFL right now. The Chiefs undefeated, but the Lions, again, like you said earlier, if they were playing tomorrow, who are you picking? I'm going Lions. I am going Lions to beat the Chiefs. Maybe the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes are going to be able to be the thieves of joy again and take that win one way or the other, but I am going Lions number 1 right now. And that was our
Top 5, no debating. Top 5, top 5, top 5.
Top 5.
top 5.
Top 5.
Top 5. Now we're going to go into, oh my God, we didn't even do our top 5 candies.
All right. Number 5.
Yep.
I'm going with Starburst.
Oh, okay.
I love Starburst. It's the OG candies, right?
Right.
I don't have any. I mean, candies. All the best ones are OG. So I got Starburst at 5. What do you have at 5?
Man, you know what I feel like is going to be not something that is is going to be liked is Tootsie Rolls. Number 5, Tootsie Rolls for me. For some reason, I love getting Tootsie Rolls on Halloween. They're so good. I like them. I don't care. I'm going Tootsie Rolls. Number 5.
That's weird, man. I'm kidding.
It is.
At number 4, and this is kind of new for me. This was a tough one, but I feel like you have to have just a regular chocolate. So I'm just gonna go with Hershey's chocolate at 4.
Okay. Not even like just Hershey's.
Hershey's chocolate.
Okay. My number 4. You're going Hershey's chocolate. I feel like I got to put a chocolate in here too. Do you remember the Crunch bars, the blue, red, and white packaging with like,
Yeah.
I love Crunch bars. Those are my favorite. I'm going with them at number 4.
Oh, okay.
Chocolate
Okay.
and a crunch. Chocolate and a crunch. It's good. I love always getting those mini ones, and like the big ones were great, but the little ones, every time I get like 7 or 8 of them in during Halloween, those would be the first ones that I would kill.
All right. At number 4.
3.
I mean 3. I'm going to go with Snickers. This is a new development for me. I didn't like Snickers growing up. I don't know why. I guess I didn't like the peanuts. I love Snickers, and I'm proud of it.
And I'm proud.
I like onions and mustard on my hot dogs. I like Snickers. A lot has changed in
Yep.
15 years, but Snickers is one of my favorite chocolates or just candies in general right now.
All right, you got Snickers at number 3. At number 3, I am gonna go Skittles. I fucking love Skittles. I like the OGs. I like the sours. I like the purple and pink one, the ones where they're all like those little soft palette type of colors.
Yep.
Skittles in those bags. Yeah, that's the shit right there. I'm going Skittles number 3.
All right. At number 2, Sour Patch Kids.
Ooh, nice.
I love Sour Patch Kids. I can't get enough of them. I will eat them until my mouth starts peeling. And that
So
is
bad.
that is how much I love them. I purposely won't buy them because I don't know how to handle them.
Oh, I feel that.
I can't. Like moderation, what is that, right? How big's the bag? Whatever it is, I'll do it.
There's a joke by a comedian. Oh my god, I forget his name. He's a clean comic, and I forget his name right now. But he was like talking about like he went to the doctor, and the doctor's asking him like, "Well, so what did you have, as a snack?" And he's like, "Oh, a bag of Sour Patch Kids." And he's like, "Oh, okay, like one of those mini ones." And he's like, "No, it was a family-sized shareable one." And I was like, "That's Kyle. That's Kyle right there."
That is 100%.
My number 2, and this was tough because between my number 2 and my number 1, I fucking love these. But my number 2 is going to be Reese's. I
Ooh,
love the Reese's peanut butter cup. Peanut butter and chocolate is the best combination in the world. I love peanut butter chocolate shakes. I love Reese's, and I love Reese's Pieces. Going Reese's number 2.
Rick, at number 1, I have Reese's.
No, let's go.
I have Reese's. It is by far the greatest candy that has ever been made, and I gotta say there is a very, very wide margin between my 1 and my 2.
Ooh.
Reese's peanut butter cups. I'll watch the How It's Made documentary. I'll get into the factory. The amount of Reese's that they make every single day, the cups. Do they need to have that black film that you pull off? No.
Little panties?
It's necessary because it creates the lines in
Yep.
it. And the perfect balance of peanut butter and chocolate, and the hidden ingredient that people don't know that they love, salt.
Yeah, it does give it that like salty chocolate flavor. That's
Yeah.
really, really good. So my number 1, and it is a candy that I have loved ever since I was a kid. Weird. So a little bit about myself. I came to Chicago when I was 3 from Mexico. When
Hot
I moved
tamales.
over to the U.S. Racist. I've loved this candy ever since I came over to the U.S. and grew up in Chicago, and I love it. It is one of my earliest memories is eating one of these, and that is a Snickers. A Snickers candy bar, the nougat the peanut butter, the caramel, the chocolate. I worked at the Mars factory for a little while where they
Really?
made the Snickers bars, the mini ones. Yeah. And it was awesome because I would always eat some. Didn't matter. There was no cameras. It's fine. I ate some. But I love Snickers. Until my last, that's probably what I'm going to eat. My last living breath on this earth is I'm going to eat a Snickers bar, maybe a pizza from Chicago, and some Coca-Cola with some ice in a cup. That is going to be my last meal, but I fucking love Snickers candy bars.
Yeah, there's nothing like a Coke and a Snickers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a great combination when you are 7 years old and full of energy and you don't care about health.
Or even if like, their whole marketing campaign is genius. Because if you had to skip lunch, there's only one candy that will do, and it's a Snickers.
Hungry?
If
Grab
you're
a
not
Snickers.
you when you're hungry, it's perfect because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
true, right? Like if somebody was like, you got to work straight through, I could get by with a Coke and a Snickers, right? The Snickers bar, and then the carbonation from the Coke, the little bit of caffeine to suppress my appetite, and then the filling, the fullness, the blood sugar gets balanced out.
Yep.
Like a Snickers and a Coke,
That's,
it can literally be your lunch. Like
you can literally be revived.
you can't
from
do
that.
that with Reese's. You'll get a
Yep.
stomach ache.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Snickers have that texture. Yes, they do, Casey. They got that dick vein. And that was our
Top 5, no debating. Top 5, top 5, top 5.
top five. Bill's got at number 1, $100,000 bar, Skittles, Lifesavers gummy. Ooh, that's a good one. Butterfinger, underrated.
Yeah.
And Jolly Ranchers. I like that list. That's a good
Butter-
list, Bill.
Lifesaver gummies, honorable mention.
Yep.
For me, the only thing I don't like about them is that they're not sour. I don't know what my fascination is with sour gummy
That's
things.
true. That's true.
Butterfinger, love Butterfinger, another honorable mention, but I don't like how it gets stuck to my teeth.
That's the worst part. Yep.
um
Payday for me, honorable mention.
yeah, Payday would be a good one. Kit Kat, I think it's
Yep.
worth mentioning, but
Oh yeah.
the wafer chocolate, it's a whole nother category, that you dive into. And then the candies I don't like, just nerds, not a huge fan. Dots, I don't know who's eating those.
Don't know how they're in business.
They're doing better than ever. I checked their stock the
old
other day. I'm
people.
like, who's buying this shit?
Old people. Old people are buying dots
And hard
the-
candy, caramel.
and hard candy, the ones that are wrapped in that strawberry little wrap.
They love that shit. They can't get enough of it. And then when they offer you one, you're like, no, thank you. And they insist. They're like, no, take one.
No,
And then
take
you
this,
put it in
is
your
good.
mouth, and you're like, this is pretty good. I could get why you like this. But then when you go to the store, you never purchase it.
Yep. And see, they make Lifesaver gummy sours. They make
Oh,
them.
I have had those, but they're not sour.
They're not
or
sour
no.
enough.
The Skittle sour gummies too. I don't know if you've tried those.
Oh yeah.
I just feel like if I'm going that route, there's nothing better than Sour Patch Kids anyway. So I end up like
100%.
picking up these other sour candies, and then I'm just like, why are you being cute? And then I go grab the Sour Patch Kid.
Don't
like
ruin.
Dan Campbell, like just run the football. You
Yeah.
got the best offensive line. Go get your Sour Patch Kid.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right. Now we are going to go into what I started last year, and I think this is the second year in a row I do this. Around this time, and it's usually, I think last week I did the halfway point. I think I did after week 9. I can't remember, but what I'm calling this segment is I'm gonna miss the lights. If you guys remember on Friday Night Lights, the movie, the season is over. They lost the national championship, and you've got these guys from the Permian Panthers in the parking lot outside the stadium, and they go, I'm going to miss the heat. I'm going to miss this. I'm going to miss this about high school football. And finally, he goes, I'm going to miss the lights, meaning they're going to miss the Friday Night Lights playing on Friday, big time games in Texas. And that's what I think is going to happen to these teams that I'm about to list right now. And before that, let's go to KC's 5 best candies. Number 1, Almond Joy. That's another one that's a good underrated one. Number 2, Payday, Jolly Ranchers, Reese's, and Hershey's Kisses. I love that. That's a great list, Casey, especially Almond Joy at number 1. That's underrated pick. So,
And Rick,
yes,
to start this segment off,
here we go. Let's see if we can hear it this time. Still can't hear it. I'm going to miss the heat. I'm going to miss the lights. There it is. There it is right there. And that's what I'm talking about right there. So let's talk about the teams that are going to miss the lights and miss the playoffs this year after week 8. I'm going to start off with the AFC first. I'm going to go. Actually, let me send Kyle the list real quick too. First team. Oh God, I just went dark there for a second. First team is going to be the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Quinnen Williams, all big names, big stars in their own right, but they're going to miss the lights this year. I just don't see a situation in which their interim coach gets them there. I'm going Jets. Then I'm going to go with the Patriots in the NFC East as well. Patriots doing well, but Jacoby Brissett and Drake May aren't going to get the job done. I'm going to follow that up with the Browns and the Bengals from the AFC North. Browns just are a shit show right now. Bengals, for some reason, are just not getting it together. AFC South, Titans and Jaguars are not going to make the playoffs. I think it's pretty simple at this point why the Titans aren't going to. The Jaguars are very, very much underperforming. Then I'm going to go with the Raiders missing the playoffs. And my last 2 teams are going to be the Dolphins and the Colts. The Dolphins just rough time missing Tua and not a lot to show for it after that. And the Colts, Anthony Richardson isn't the guy. You've got some players on there. And but if you're going Joe Flacco week 9 because of Richardson's play, I don't know if Steichen is a good enough coach or they have good enough personnel on the defensive side to make it there. So I'm going Colts out of the AFC South. Now, on to the NFC. I'm going to start off with a heartbreaker, Bill, and I'm sorry, but the Giants, to me, in the NFC East just don't have enough right now, as well as the Cowboys, though. The Cowboys, they paid Dak, they paid CeeDee Lamb. They just do not have enough right now on any side of the ball to get them in the playoffs. NFC North, I'm going Vikings. Vikings are going to miss the playoffs. They have had a hot start, but they've lost 2 in a row. And yes, I've got them to win, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. And Bill says, I'm shocked. I don't know if the Vikings are going to have enough the rest of this year to make it to the playoffs. I had them as number 4 in the NFC North, and I think the Bears are going to outplay in the rest of the year. The Saints and the Panthers from the NFC South, for me, are not making the playoffs. It's pretty simple for both of these teams. They started off hot, but without Derek Carr, no good for the Saints. And the Panthers, well, they're the Panthers. That's why they're missing. From the NFC West, I've actually got the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and the Rams all missing the playoffs in 2024. It was a tough decision for me to include the Rams in there, but I think at the end of the day, 49ers are going to have the division in a chokehold, and the NFC North is just such a strong division right now that they're going to have 3 teams from that division going to the playoffs. And last but not least, from the NFC South, there can only be one out of that division, and the Bucs are going to miss out. The Falcons are going to win that division, like I said, preseason when they got Kirk Cousins, and the Bucs, without Mike Evans, without Chris Godwin for a long period of time, are going to miss the playoffs. And those are my teams who are going to miss the lights. Kyle, what do you think?
I think it's a good list. I think for the AFC,
Mhm.
I don't disagree with any of them. The NFC, a lot more disagreeable.
I figured, yeah.
Um, the Rams, the Bucks, and the Vikings. I think that they can all three be in the playoffs. Now the Rams, I think, can win the division outright, and with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp back, like they just beat the Vikings, and now the Vikings are losing, and you got the Vikings out. But one thing
Mhm.
I I'm not there yet personally because Sean McVay
Mhm.
and Kevin O'Connell, great head coaches,
Yep.
and great head coaches. Not only do they find ways to win, but they normally close the season really well. So because of the situation the Vikings put themselves in, where they can go 500 and end up with 10 wins, I like the Vikings odds to get into the playoffs just based
Boo.
on how they started. And then for the Bucks, I think they're going to get Mike Evans back. No Chris Godwin, but Mike Evans is a huge bonus. And then they still have other weapons there that they can utilize. But really, it's a bet on Baker Mayfield. But that's going to be a stingy division. I could see one of those, either the Rams or the Bucks. One of those teams is maybe not going to make it, or the Vikings.
Mhm.
Vikings, Bucks, and Rams. Maybe one of those teams doesn't make it, but I'm not sure which one it is. I think all three are definitely still in playoff hunt big time.
So you heard it here. Kyle agrees with everything I just said. So me and him are both on the same page. And that is my teams that are going to miss the lights this year's playoffs. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. But Kyle, I think it's time for the motherfucking for the motherfucking
Welcome to the Chives with Kyle.
doot, doot, doot.
Well, my chives were going to be me showing you I was going to show you this.
Penis.
This is what my chives were going to be. But you can't hear this, right?
Let's see. No, we can't. I can't hear. That's the weird part. Is like, why were we able to hear it before, but not anymore now?
I don't even have an answer to that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's really strange. I'm going to figure it out, though. There's probably something I need to enable. But it was me taking the Lions #1 week 7. So there was a typo.
Was there?
I ran the tape back because I was like, there's no way I wouldn't have put Houston at 1 ever.
Wait, was that the week 7 recap or the prediction?
No, those the week 7 predictions.
So
That's
then
when we
why
do
did
our
I-
top 5.
Why do I have you as the Texans? That's so weird.
I
don't know.
I don't know either, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to clear that up because I was like, I do not sign off on that. Houston being 1. Not yet. Not yet. All right, but since that didn't work, here's going to be my chives. Burrow tabs this Bengals game against the Raiders, must win. Urgency's very high every week from here on out. It's only a 3-5 record. You said you go 3-6, you basically got to win out to get in. So urgency is very high every single week from here on out. We're going to see how that translates onto the field. Power rankings. There's a new team at #1. This is the NFL's power rankings. The Lions finally jumped the Chiefs. I don't know
Yep.
what the hell took that long. Like,
Mhm.
the NFL has the
Nash.
Chiefs' penis so far in their mouth. Like,
As
it
they
is.
should.
Yeah, they're just like, God, the Chiefs and Mahomes and Travis Kelce. It's like, no, why did it take this for you to be like, maybe the Lions are better than the Chiefs? Maybe the one-loss Lions. Like, they just get so scope locked on the record. It's like,
Yep.
it's one loss. Get over it. Let's just re-look at these teams. Like, Anyway, the Chiefs are at 2, Buffalo's at 3, the Bengals are at, or the Bengals, the Ravens are at 4, and the Commanders are at 5. So this is pretty close to all of ours. You had the Commanders
Yeah.
at 5.
Yep.
And the Buffalo Bills being at 3 and the Ravens at 4. We both did that one spot from each other, but ours was 3 and 2. Theirs is 4 and 3 because they have the Chiefs at 2. So it seems like we all kind of agree right now on the top 5 teams. And the last thing is, look at Green Bay's logo. What is this? This is on NFL.com.
Yeah, I was looking at that too because the Eagles also have a weird one. If you scroll down to the Eagles, they've got, see that? They must be wearing some sort of throwbacks or
throwback.
something. Yeah.
I'm gonna just check really quick. Green Bay throwback.
Yep, there it is.
So that is is that what is happening? Yeah, they're gonna wear their 1950s throwback on
There you go.
Sunday.
There you go.
So there you go. Very informative chives, but that's what I got for you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the chives. And I'll let Rick go through all the announcements, but you can follow me on
X.
at I can't with the octopus. NFL with Kyle. And you can follow my YouTube at Kyle Kitzman. You can follow Rick at And Now Rick. And where can they find the octopus?
They can find the octopus at octopussy.com. Octopussy.com. No, go follow us on X. Go follow the Only Football Podcast at Only Football Pod on X.
Tyrell Williams. He beats Cock.
Oh, Bill had a question. Bill, wrap us up with your question here while we kind of spout off where you guys could follow us. Let us get your question real quick, but go follow the Only Football Podcast at Only Football Pod. And if you're watching on this live stream right now, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to hit subscribe. Make sure to become a member. $2.99 a month. And you become a member of the Only Football fam, just like KC, just like Bill, just like Lil E. Who else was in here? Brother T was in here. All the members of the Only Football fam, we appreciate you. And you always get a shout out at the end of the show. Bill saying, so the only Shockey jersey don't own, I have 4, is the 2003 Pro Bowl jersey. Found a good one on eBay for $150 OBO. Most of these go for $45 to $95. Should I offer $105 and see if he takes it? Absolutely. Always lowball. Always lowball.
Always. And then even like lowball to the point where, not to the point where you get ignored, but to the point where they will take you serious and then give you the new price. For sure.
Exactly. So
that's how I do eBay, where the things I've bought, I think it's make an offer. That's you can select make an offer.
Make an offer.
And then like I'm telling you, like 8 out of 10 times they accept the offer. And then I'm thinking, damn, should I have gone lower?
Should I have gone lower? Yeah.
So
yeah, every time.
Go lower than you think. If he's asking for 150, about most of them go for 45. I would just go ahead and make an offer at 85, 80, and then send a message with a link to that jersey going for 45, and be like, look, I'm offering you double what the market value is.
Yeah, add some proof. Add why you're going that route, but for sure, definitely go a little way lower than that if the high end is $95, Bill, for sure. But thanks for the question. Hopefully we helped Bill, and again, thank you to Bill, to KC, to Brother T, to Lily, all everyone who was in here, and Bill with the super chat of $20. I am a man of my word. We appreciate you guys.
Out of there, it was hot.
Bill was like, "Get the fuck out of there."
I even
So we-
cut a hole because I was like, they can't really hear me, so
yeah, it was a muffled.
it didn't help.
Yeah, it was. It was good though. It was good. Bill definitely appreciates it. So thank you so much, guys, for being here. Again, hit that like. Tell people about the Only Football Podcast. We will be back on Sunday to stream all the games. And Kyle, happy Halloween and always a good time, brother.
Happy Halloween.
See ya!